Hi, everybody.
What's up, everybody? All right. So, hopefully the Wi-Fi cooperates. So far, so
And our
good.
sound is okay.
Sound is okay. Can we get a sound check from someone? Anyone, please? It's a fitness live. We never get the
And it's the week before Christmas.
the week before Christmas. A fitness live the week before Christmas. Can you say we want as few people as possible?
And we're going to keep it a little bit on the shorter
Yeah.
side today because we realize everyone's really busy and this is a crazy time of year. So,
And I would personally like to add that I don't want you to think about your fitness schedule for the January too much between now and then. Have a good time, all right? Enjoy yourselves, enjoy your family, enjoy your food, relax. January's
a
close.
good reset time.
Hello, hello. All right. Got 4 people on there. We'll see what happens. We'll get a few more. Then we'll start talking everything fitness. Christina, how are you? Kenny, there you go. What's happening? Beautiful. So we are actually home, obviously. We went to Las Vegas for a convention and got back. All of our crazy travel is over. We've got some little weekend stuff between now and the end of January, but then our next big trip isn't until 22nd or so, 21st, 22nd of January, which is pretty cool. So we have time to focus on our fitness, which is awesome. Brian, North Carolina, that's awesome. New Hampshire, Jim, very cool. Good to see you guys. You guys are reminding me that I forgot to say when you start watching this, even if it's later on, make sure you put in where you're watching from because we love to see that reach. It's always some interesting places. All right, so good to see everybody. All right, wait another second, then we'll get started, Mary.
Yeah.
You want to start?
You can start.
You start. Talk fitness.
So we are going to talk a little bit about setting some fitness goals in your swim spa specifically for 2025. It's like Ben just said when we first started, January is a good time to set some new habits or reset some habits that we might have gone to the wayside in the craziness of this past year. So January is always a good time to kind of revisit some healthy habits and start working on maybe a fitness routine, or maybe you have a good fitness routine and you want to work on some relaxation or some mental health time as well. So those are all good things to think about when you're thinking about setting some new year resolutions, even though I know we don't love that word, but just a good time to reset and maybe make some positive habit changes in our schedule, in our life. So we want to talk a little bit about how you can use your swim spa in many different ways to help improve your life, and also maybe just setting a schedule so that you actually utilize your investment. So I mean, you made this investment in a swim spa for your health, for your family, for your wellness, and a lot of times what happens is we do that, and then after a while the newness of it kind of fades away and it's something that's kind of pushed aside, or we're too busy and we don't make the time to utilize it. So we just want to revisit that and talk about ways that you can use your swim spa to make your life better.
Absolutely. So pause that. We had some, those of you who are watching and regulars, you know who Captain is. Captain and Reggie are my dogs, and especially Captain has spent a lot of time on these videos. We don't bring them down anymore because with 2 of them, it's a pain in the butt. And it makes my day more stressful, and I don't need that. So, but we left them, we're training them not in the crates. So they're staying out, and we block off. And Captain, we have a video of it because we got the cam. Captain,
Pet cam.
the pet cam captain grabbed the gate with his mouth and ripped it off the wall. The screws are like maybe 2.5 inches into wood, and he ripped it off the wall. So my daughter Summer I just saw her watching. She's going home. I didn't think she'd be home yet, and she's gonna let us know how much damage there is in the house, or whether or not they were angels and just got on the bed. Because apparently they had free reign in the kitchen and my bedroom and the hallway, and then everything that we gave them in the back room. So God only knows what's coming our way. But the video of him biting the gate and pulling it out of the wall is actually amazing. I mean, he's so strong, and he's so gentle, he never shows us his strength. Summer's driving. You should not be watching the live while you're driving, young lady. Turn the phone off and drive. You get on there when you get home. Gah! Back to fitness. So
we have done some posts, I think it was 2 years ago now, that you can view on the YouTube channel. We did a 90-day challenge, and it was some exercises that you could do in your swim spot, even if it was just 15 minutes a day. And we kind of built this program from day 1 to day 90 with basically 2 weeks of exercises that kind of built on each other every 2 weeks. So that is one way that if you haven't done that, or if you did do it and you want to redo it, it's just a great progression of exercises. I know my parents have done it more than once because it just gives them some structure of what to do when they're working out in the swim spot, which I would like to give them a lot of credit, because I would say in the past 4 to 6 months, they've really been making it more of a habit.
They're always good.
They are, but my mom has a tendency to make plans during the day.
Yep.
That
during workout time.
And so my dad actually encouraged her to start making the plans after, even if it cut their time a little bit shorter in the swim spot, but so that they were getting pretty regular exercise time in the swim spot, and it has made a really big difference for both of them. They feel a lot better, they move a lot better, they feel good, and my mom especially has less back and leg pain. So they have done the 90-day challenge.
To remind everyone, Terry has spinal stenosis.
Right, yeah.
And she deals with quite a bit of significant back pain that is wildly affected by exercising in the swim spot in a good way.
In a good way, yeah.
So it really does work.
And I actually do want to mention that she was going to physical therapy and told them that she had access to a swim spot, and they were like over the moon.
Yeah, they lost their minds.
And basically gave her some exercises that she should focus on while she was in here. So if anyone is rehabbing something, pain, or they've had surgery, hip surgery, knee surgery, and you have a swim spot, and you let your doctor, your physical therapist know that you have access to exercising in water, it's huge for recovery, and they can often give you a plan to follow. So that's one thing that we wanted to talk about, even in starting, the new year. If you're rehabbing something, talk to a physical therapist or a doctor about a specific routine that would be best for that injury or for that surgery or pain that you are experiencing. So anyway, so 90 day, they're all on YouTube. That's one great way to start using your swim spot in the new year, with some exercises that kind of build on each other. Another really great way to use your swim spot for fitness is to walk or run against the current. So I don't know about you all, but those of you who live in the cold, I hate the cold, and I don't like running outside in the cold, or I like to walk, but I really don't enjoy doing it in the cold. So I prefer to walk on the treadmill inside or walk in the swim spot or run against the current. And you can do that if you've got soft tread or the non-slip padding on the bottom. You can run against the current, like actually get some current coming out of those jets in the front so that you're pushing that current against you. I've seen Tim and Rinny have done some videos on their social media of running against the current.
That's Rinny.
Tim actually
Staring and
uses
judging
like
us.
an old pair of sneakers that he uses just for water running, and it gives him even more traction because he is putting those jets on really strong so that he's really pushing through the water and getting his heart rate up. So it's just a really great way. It's something super simple that you can add to your daily or weekly routine to help get that heart rate up. It's nice because you can set the temperature to a nice, comfortable temperature so you actually don't mind getting in the water to do it. For me, that's always a huge thing. And
Does make it better.
just starting with something as simple as walking against that current.
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you guys another glimpse into my dad life. Summer commented that she was just listening and not watching, which is fine. And I will also like to add, Summer, that don't speed, because if they did mess anything up, it can be fixed, and that's not a problem. So just relax, and whatever it is, we'll handle it, and I'm sure they're fine anyway. Okay, that's done. Next chapter of that will be when she reports the damage, if there is any. So when it comes to the fitness, guys, we got Kenny on here. So when Kenny started, was not a strong swimmer, and swimming out of a swim spot versus a swim spot is very different. So you have to learn it. Well, Kenny took the time to learn it. He got the right swim toys. Now he's a, by his own words, intermediate level from a beginner newbie to intermediate level.
Awesome.
That's a huge change, and it's like the cardiovascular strengthening that comes with it, and this stuff is so important. Should we get into like all the medical stuff that I've tested and all that stuff? Because
Yeah.
it's all relevant. So I turned 50. I did my colonoscopy. I did a calcium score for plaque on my heart. And then I did a stress test, stress EKG, echocardiogram. So, and the reason I did that is because my cholesterol is high. So, which is sort of interesting. So my family has a history of high cholesterol, but not a history of heart events, which is sort of interesting. So, but because of that, I turned 50, and everything is awesome. Life is great. I wanted to go get tested and make sure everything I could check is checked. And they don't make it easy. So the medical, the health industry is not really big on wellness,
Right.
which we are all about wellness. So there's some problems there that could stand some crazy addressing. So went and got the plaque score, 1. My score is 1 out of, and then those of you who have done that before. And what's interesting is that a lot of people haven't. So my mother, who is just a couple years older than I am, obviously, has never had that done. So she's like, geez, why don't I get that done? And it's most insurances don't cover it. It was $129. I want to know, because if with this cholesterol being high, I want to know what that plaque score is. That's how much plaque is in your arteries surrounding your heart. So it's 1. From 0 to 10 is considered, low, no risk of a heart event. And then from 11 to 99 is, medium risk. And then from 100 to 400 is high risk of a heart event. And then above 400, it's imminent. It's bad. It's you need to address it immediately. So that's how the scores work. So I had a score of 1, so that's pretty awesome. And then I did the stress test, and because I look more like a bodybuilder than I do an Ironman triathlete, they assumed that what my heart was going to look like in the pictures, and it's not at all what they found. So, and we had a really good time with these techs. They were fun. I'm asking lots of questions, and I wanted to know this stuff, so they were expecting it to look a certain way, and it didn't. and it didn't because of my cardio. Because we raced Ironman, my heart looks more like an endurance athlete than it does a bodybuilder, which is not. Bodybuilder heart looks a lot like someone who has high blood pressure's heart, depending on their background and how serious a bodybuilder they are. So it's very common, but because that's how I looked, they sort of judged me, which was fine, and then found the opposite to be there. And then the doctor basically came in and read it and said, hey, I have nothing to tell you. I have nothing to say to you. Get out. You're perfect. Awesome. That was what I wanted to know. So that one was covered. The EKG, the stress EKG was covered. The calcium score was not. And I don't, there's no such thing as great insurance anymore. So we got some comments on here. So, Kevin, what's up, brother? So, Kev, well, maybe we talked about all that stuff. I'm not sure. Last time we were together, we did. But I had all those tests done. Everything's clear. So now I'm not so worried about my cholesterol. And the cholesterol is pretty high. So, and it's not, the first statin I took didn't really do anything. And now we're addressing which statin and which dosage is correct. So, but, take the time, take care of yourselves. We get one shot through this life. And all I can say is that my cardiovascular background changed the outcome of these tests for sure. Yeah. I mean, no question about it. And that's the tie-in to this topic, is that everything that we've done all these years, it worked. It paid off. Obviously, we all want to look a certain way. We want to feel a certain way. And that's all very important. But if those numbers aren't correct, then we need to address that. And having a swim spot, you can start if you've never done anything, and you're simply walking in there. I think we had a question on there. What's the most effective exercise there is out of all exercises? Believe it or not, it's walking. Okay, it's walking, and it's a very interesting thing. And you don't need anything special to do that. If you've got a swim spot, you can do it. And if you have the motivation on the swim spas, if you have any hip problems, knee problems, which also, the chances of those go up as we get older. As we get older, we have more baggage health-wise. The swim spa is the equalizer. It lowers all that stuff. Really awesome. So you can run in there, you can walk in there without any impact. You get a 75% reduction of impact on your lower body, which is huge. So do something. Even if it feels to your brain, I don't care if in college 40 years ago you were an amazing state level swimmer, runner, pole vaulter, it doesn't matter. So if you're doing simple walking in a swim spot, in your mind, all of our minds, we still feel 18 in all of our minds, right? I know I do. Beth and I had a laugh. She said last night, let me get the quote right. I sometimes feel like an imposter in my body pretending I'm this age, when in fact we are definitely this age, and we're feeling things. So it was very funny. She said, I feel like an imposter. So we all feel that way. So my point is, if you're exercising in the swim spot and it's simple walking, and you're thinking in your mind, well, I used to do this, so this doesn't feel like I'm doing anything, you're wrong. You are doing something. You're doing something wonderful, and your body will love you for it. Your heart will love you for it. Your cardiovascular health will love you for it. And ultimately, your family will also love you for it. Okay? So this is really, really awesome stuff. And it's a way to do that when you have a physical limitation that doesn't exist otherwise. And you can do it year round. Outside, inside, doesn't matter. The swim spas work. It's just, they're so powerful for that. And that's what it is. And then I'm just talking walking. So what I want to talk about is setting up proper, want to set up proper goals. We talk about this every year. I don't love the idea of a resolution because we're starting things that we always know that we should start, but logistically and schedule-wise, January 1st makes sense because the holidays are over. It's tough to focus on new things during the holiday. There's so much going on, and I think not just we understand that, but you understand that, and everyone understands that. That's part of the reason why January 1st is such a big fitness thing. Everybody feels the guilt after, maybe a little bit of overindulgence on the holidays, and now it's go time. Fine, whatever it is. It doesn't matter the reason that you're starting physical fitness or restarting physical fitness. It always needs to just be started. It doesn't matter when it is. If it's January 1st, so be it. Okay? So, eat right. Exercise with weights. exercise with cardio. There's a tripod. I used to explain it this way when I was a trainer. You have food, you have cardio, you have resistance training. That's your tripod. If you take away one of them, the tripod falls over. You need all three, and you need proper amounts of all three. Don't get hurt. Don't overdo one of them. Don't, go so calorie restricted that you don't have the strength to lift weights. That just doesn't make sense like that. You want to eat a clean, healthy diet and have some fun here and there. That's fine. You want to be clean 90 to 95% of the time. 5-10% of the time, have a blast, knock it out. That's fine. And then you want to lift weights, whether that's weights out in a gym, whether that's the resistance programs that we've designed for the swim spa. Doesn't make any difference. Your body doesn't care. Resistance training keeps bones healthy, keeps bones strong, keeps muscle tissue solid, and you're not going to wilt away muscle tissue. Then you're doing your cardiovascular, so you're training your lung capacity, you're training your cardiovascular ability, and then you're well-rounded. And if you do all three smartly, not so intense that it's something you can't keep up, if you do it smartly, it will be a habit that you can do forever. And start that way. Start with something that's on the easier side so that you don't mind doing it. If you start something so freaking hard, like the stuff that we do, it's hard and it brings guilt, and just don't do that to yourself. Make it fun, make it something that's reasonable, and get going, okay? And we want to hear about it. We love this stuff, so hang on. I tore my gastroc attacking a hill last year. Kenny, yeah. It feels good in the water though, doesn't it? Gastroc is calf. So, Kenny, get all technical with muscle names too. Come on, man. Just say my leg, my calf. Come on. You don't have to be that hardcore. We're not that hardcore around here. All right. So, anyway, Kenny, you still on a plateau? On a plateau. We have you raised up for your suggestion when we were in Kona with Brad swimming with the weights. You can do no wrong. All right, I'll help you, dispose of a body if that's what it takes. We appreciate you. All right, good stuff. All right. So, what you got, Mary? How did that make sense?
Yeah, and what I want to talk about too, we talked about exercise, but also talking about mental health habits, that your positive mental health habits. So even if it's relaxing in your swim spa for a little bit of time, either in the morning, having some coffee, or at nighttime before going to bed, it's that there is some benefit to that as well. We're always on the go, we're always stressed and trying to get the fitness in, trying to get the good food in, but thinking about some stress relief is also a positive habit to incorporate at the beginning of this year, and a swim spa is a great way to do that. Sit in the jetted seats, or turn on the therapy cove. Turn the lights on and watch the waterfalls at nighttime because they look awesome.
They're awesome.
So, even if it's
Never gets
just
old.
10 minutes a day that you're kind of just sitting and relaxing, maybe meditating, or, even with a spouse or a loved one, just spending some quality time, quiet time, is another positive habit that would be good to incorporate in the new year in your swim spa.
Yep, for sure. So we went to a conference in Las Vegas last week and weekend, a little bit of both, and learned about some interesting things, vagus nerve stuff. So we're going to add some vagus nerve stimulation to our protocol of fitness and health, and some of that includes mental health. You do get that in the cold tub, which we do. So you do get that, but there's more to it than that. You're not going to get in the cold tub multiple times a day. So the vagus nerve, if anyone wants to have a good time, look up benefits of stimulating vagus nerve and start thinking about that. And then we also, I'm going to let Mary talk about this because it was like research-based study stuff, and she's the doctor, with the hot tub and temperature, with core temperature for the chemo.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you talk about that.
So we talked to someone who's just mentioned that there have been some studies that have looked at hot water, and this was a controlled study. So the temperature was probably hotter than what we would recommend, like in a home
Yeah,
hot tub.
don't even give the temperatures because we're not recommending this. We're just talking,
Right.
we're just talking here.
But it was very interesting that like hot water has obviously some really great benefits, and what the study was looking at was how hot water affected the effectiveness of chemotherapy, and it basically doubled the effectiveness for patients who are undergoing a certain type of chemotherapy. We just got home. I have not had a chance to look up the study, but I thought it was just very interesting, and that that's not the only study that they've done on hot water benefits for cancer patients. So just something to look into if you know any loved ones who are undergoing chemo, to maybe ask the doctor if there is a protocol for hot water immersion. But I just thought it was super interesting, and the fact that they're doing some studies on this is really awesome.
And and right now all the studies, everyone's talking cold, which the benefits are massive. So you have all that study. So it was really fun for us because obviously we have cold tubs, we have hot tubs, we have all tubs, we have saunas. To have this doctor come into our booth and talk about studies that they're doing was really exciting, because you hear cold, but don't forget you have this foundation, this classic all-star of hot, and the benefits. Now we're talking about making chemo more effective. Yes, please. Oop, we got a dog update. What do we got, Summer? Captain got in your bed, and they are very comfortable protecting the house if someone was to come in, but Reggie gets scared if she has to. All right, so Summer, so the damage is we need to do some laundry. That's what it sounds like to me. We can live with that.
We did have one question. We are going to keep it a little bit on the shorter side today. If anyone has any questions, please post them on here, and if we don't answer them right now, we'll get to them later. But we did have one question that came in earlier from Dean in California. And you may need to clarify some of this, Dean, for us, but how do you recommend to transition from a leap swimmer, I don't know what that means, of a half a mile, 3 days a week, to swimming against the current of the swim spa? I'm realizing this is not the same workout, but want to stay as equivalent as I can. I just don't want to lose ground. Kick counting is not the answer I thought it would be. So, actually, I'm sorry, that was from Shiloh in Missouri.
Okay.
Dean in California asked if we sell saunas. Dean, you can check out our website, chiligoattubs.com. There are saunas on that website. It's by MasterSpas. But Shiloh in Missouri. So I think what you're asking is, like, how do you swim a half mile in a swim spa? Like, what's the equivalent? And I think the best answer is time.
I was just going to say time.
So if you've been doing 3 days a week of a half mile in a swimming pool, you know how long that typically takes you.
I don't know what leap swimming is.
I don't know what that is either. But if it takes you a half hour to swim a half mile, then swimming a continuous half hour in the swim spa is going to be pretty close.
Yeah.
It's going to be an average. Another way to do it rather than kick count is stroke count, because your kick count is going to be a lot different because of the current, but your stroke count, if you're doing a steady swim, is going to be more similar. So if you know how many strokes it takes you per half mile, or even like 100 meters or 50 meters, then that will give you a good estimate of swimming that many strokes in the swim spa.
Yeah, for sure.
We use a Garmin watch. There are other brands that have swim capability counting or distance, but you need to turn your GPS off because you're not going anywhere. So if you do have a watch that has that, turn your GPS off when you're swimming, and it will give you an estimate of distance, and at least it'll be the same estimate every time. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll give you, again, another estimate. So you can kind of use those three things to get as equivalent
I
as
have
possible.
one more suggestion. If you have a watch that maybe doesn't do swim stroke, but it does calories,
Sure.
what you can
That's
do is
another good idea.
go do it open water,
Or in
have
your
your
pool.
watch, or in your pool, or whatever. I'm not sure what leap swimming is, I'm sorry. Do your workout with a watch counting calories, which is much more common, and do the workout, and then you can just do it until you hit that same calorie count. And if you want to make it harder,
That's a good idea,
add
too.
10% to that caloric number. It's funny, we never really thought about stuff that way until CrossFit, because they measure cardio in calories,
Yeah.
which is different.
Right.
Where, from the triathlon space, it's never measured that way. They don't give a damn about calories. Whereas in CrossFit, you're doing things for calories, and it sort of signifies the time. But you can, calories are sort of interesting because it doesn't have a time, attachment to it. If you have to burn 50 calories on a rower, some
You just
people can
keep
some
going
people can do that
until-
in 3 minutes, and some people can do it, in 44 seconds, because they're just ridiculous. And some people take 7 minutes. So it just doesn't matter. It just labels the amount of work that needs to get done. So if you do that workout, count the calories with a watch of any kind. Will do calories. Apple Watch does calories. Your most basic fitness watch will do calories burned. Go from there.
Whoops.
Yeah,
Do that. So, yeah.
yeah, right on. Cool. What else?
So,
Any questions?
I don't just double check if there's any other questions, but
I don't think so. I think we're
we,
good.
the next 2 Wednesdays are both holidays, Christmas and then New Year's Day. So we're going to leave everyone alone for those, and we will get started back up on 2025 Facebook Lives on January 8th. So we will see everyone in the new year. We hope you have a wonderful holiday, fun with family and friends, and enjoy your time.
Yep.
You
We
know,
want
at
we
home.
want to see some holiday pictures, some Christmas pictures
Yeah.
in the swim spa, lights on, have some fun, enjoy your families. This is what they're for.
Yeah.
The winter time, having the ability to get in outside in the winter. Beth and I were in last night. Awesome. It is not swim temperature. It's 101. It is hot tub temperature
Nice.
at the Gilliam household. And we'll be doing laundry tonight because Captain laid on
in
my
your bed.
damn pillow all day long because it smells like his daddy. How could he be mad at that? That'll
Right.
happen. Of course, he did rip the gate down with his teeth. Okay.
All right, everybody. Happy holidays, Happy New Year, and we'll see you on January 8th.
Love ya. See ya.
Bye.
In 2, 3, 3, 3.